and welcome to week 6 of the Lean Screen Experiment. This week I focused on 2 things that have been quietly cluttering my phone and my head for a while now. First, my email inbox, and then what I call tab sprawl, the amount of open tabs sitting within a browser app like Safari. I suspected that cleaning up both would help make my phone feel leaner, and it did. Not in a dramatic way, but in a noticeable, calming one. So let's start with email. My inbox was getting quite out of control. Each day I get up to 20 or so emails, mostly marketing emails from shops I've bought from or newsletters I signed up to. Often the same company sending emails multiple times a week. They had some good content, but they were also a major distraction. Because I mostly check email on my phone, every time I opened the app I was met with noise. And because life is busy, I never actually would read anything. I was just spending around 10 minutes a day deleting emails I didn't actually use. So my goal this week was simple: stop the flow at the source. I unsubscribed from around 30 company emails. It was surprisingly quick, and once it was done, I didn't miss them at all. Now, instead of dozens of emails a day, I'm getting 1 or 2 that actually matter. Opening my inbox feels lighter, less demanding, less like a task I'm already behind on. Now the second focus this week took a bit more effort: tab sprawl. If you'd opened my Safari app before this week, you would have seen almost 200 open tabs. Articles to read, things to research, ideas I didn't want to lose, tabs kept open just in case. And that's really the psychology of tab sprawl. Open tabs feel safe. Deleting them feels like letting go of something. But carrying them all around creates a low-level mental load. So I did a cleanup. Went through every open tab. It took about an hour. And here's the simple 3-step system I landed on. 1. Delete. If a tab was no longer relevant, I deleted it. 2. Keep to read later. If it was something I genuinely wanted to come back to one day, I added it to my Safari reading list instead, by going to Share, Add to Reading List, Close tab. That way it wasn't gone, it was just stored, but it didn't demand my attention anymore every time I went into the browser. 3. Keep to action now. If it was something I'm actually working on or looking to action right now, I keep these as open tabs. I was left with around 10 open tabs, and I'll try to keep it around this number going forward. So it's 3 simple options: either delete, keep to action, or keep for later. There are other options like setting up tab groups or auto-closing tabs, where there is a setting to delete all tabs after a set time, like 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month. But for now, this felt flexible enough for me without being restrictive or creating too much thinking admin. Cleaning up my email and tab sprawl didn't drastically slash any more of my phone use, but it did change how my phone feels. Less clutter, less background noise, less sense of unfinished business waiting for me every time I opened one of those apps. And something else really stood out this week. It's now been 2 weeks since I removed social media from my phone. I still feel the occasional pang of missing out, but every time I check Facebook on my laptop, I'm reminded how much of it is just noise. Since removing it, my phone screen time has dropped significantly. It really was one of the main phone use issues I had. At first, I also had to think about how I wanted to fill the extra time I now have, and I've noticed I'm reading more, exercising more, and feeling less stressed about getting things like the housework done by staying on top of it more. It has such a wider flow-on effect. And when I checked which apps I'm actually using now and for how long, it was much more palatable. 20 minutes here and there on apps like Safari, a news app, ChatGPT, and for the first time in a long time, I don't feel like I'm wasting time on my phone. But there's still more work to do, so for the week ahead, I wanted to see what it would take to trim my phone use back even further and get my phone use closer to an ultimate goal of up to 1 hour a day. Not by being strict, but by being more intentional again. For example, I've noticed I've slipped back into watching shows on my phone again sometimes, so I'll be pulling that back to the TV. And I'll keep paying attention to where my remaining screen time is actually going. Next week, I'm also going to zoom out a bit. I'll be looking at some of the wider stats and facts around phone use and screen time to better understand the environment that we're all navigating and how that supports the practical changes I'm making. Thanks for being here. If you're trying any of this alongside me, I'd love to hear what's helping you. This is the Lean Screen.